If you watch this video, Apple doesn't care about you. If you watch TechYouTube, you'll be forgiven for thinking that the iPad is the most hated device on the planet, for being too powerful and not capable enough, and the iPhone is way too restrictive, the Mac is impossible to upgrade starting with just 8 gigs of RAM. But guess what? No one cares. Least of all Apple. Want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours? Subscribe and ring the bell. Don't click away. Don't click away. I care. I'm one of you. I'm one of the tinkerers. I'm one of the people that wants to play with the limits of what you can do. But we are the outliers. We are the few, the elite. And we are not the ones that Apple is worried about. Look at the iPhone, for example. Apple in the US is selling not only more phones than any other manufacturer, but more than all of the other manufacturers combined right now. And guess how they did it? I'll give you a clue. It wasn't by making some random niche features like copy and pasting Getty images, pictures of the moon over what your camera can see in the night sky. Apple somehow gets criticised for putting better chips in the iPad Pro too. There's a lot of tech people saying that the iPad doesn't make the most of that power, that the iPad Pro should somehow run macOS because it has a powerful chip. But that's not a requirement we put on anything else. With a Mac, you can run Final Cut on an M1 MacBook Air with no fan, but that doesn't mean that the M2 Ultra Mac Studio shouldn't exist. Nor should the M2 Ultra have exclusive software that the MacBook Air isn't allowed. No one, as far as I know, has suggested that the Mac Studio should run a different macOS Pro with different capabilities to the lowly consumer-friendly Air. I don't think anyone has ever said that the anemic Intel i3 chips should run a different version of Windows to a Threadripper Pro either. And yet, when it comes to the iPad, Apple's personal tablet, it does seem that, at least within our little tech bubble, everyone thinks that there's no reason to give the iPad a faster chip because you can't take advantage of all of its power. But if you export a movie, whether it's through an iMovie, Final Cut or DaVinci on your iPad, it would of course be faster to export on a faster chip. I never thought that would be a hot take. I have to say though that so many people want just one device to do everything that they do, or anything else that they've ever considered doing on another device, that I don't think the diehards will ever be happy. If iPad's Final Cut version doesn't use plugins, it's useless. If you can't write apps in Xcode on it, why does it exist? And if it can't completely replace your main computer, it's pointless. And for those 1% of users who say those things, they're probably right, but that doesn't make a product wrong. Just like network admins might need Wi-Fi tools on the iPhone or the iPad that they can't run, the lack of those things are not a big enough issue for Apple to even worry about addressing them. There's so few people that need them, it really doesn't make a dent. And all of the issues that are coming up here are so niche, they really just don't matter to Apple in the grand scheme of things. Even the worst thing in the world, if you listen to YouTubers, the base M chips starting at 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage is fine. Like, for normal people doing normal computer stuff, fine. I know this because my Mac Mini is exactly that. But for most people, the base specs are fine. Super snappy, perfect for normal computing, email, web documents, even video and audio editing, coding, everything. Cloud storage is a great solution for most people as it means that their files are now available everywhere. That means you don't have to keep everything locally on your Mac. Of course, spend a little bit more and all of the things that will happen on your cheaper Mac will happen faster on a more expensive and more powerful Mac. You'll probably get a prettier display too, and maybe better speakers. But there are no tasks that you would rule out because you've got a MacBook Air instead of a Pro, at least not these days, just that some of those tasks might take a little bit longer to do. But most people just don't care about this stuff. Most people don't open their machines to upgrade RAM or CPUs or GPUs in their system. Not even storage. Not ever. Not even on the systems where it used to be really easy to do. Most people don't do it. It's just not a consideration for them. And this is why Apple is making appliance computers, consumer products, because people value ease of use and convenience. But to my people, to the people who would watch a video like this, you are the 1% outliers, and Apple doesn't need to chase our money, because we're going to be here anyway. We're the ones that analyse and tear everything down and get into the nitty-gritty, but regular consumers will watch a couple of reviews and just go ahead and buy the latest one that they need right now, and that's fine too. Want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours? Subscribe and ring the bell.